Tonight on News 5 Live, a public consultation is set to commence at the Biltmore. Waterloo will meet with tourism stakeholders and other interested parties to discuss the likelihood of a third cruise terminal in Belize District. Another protest in Belmopan, this time employees of DFC stage a demonstration following the termination of 3 of their colleagues. And Charleston Green Jr. is arrested and charged in connection with Tuesday evening shooting on Pelican Street. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Man, you really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Carnival is back on the streets again, and the best seat in the house is right here on Channel 5. Tune in on Saturday, September 3rd at 1 p.m. to catch our coverage featuring all things Carnival, from the King and Queen competition to mass camps to Juve, and leading up to this year's Road March. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of this year's Carnival live on Channel 5 and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss Carnival Road March 2022 live on 5.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, September 1st. I am Sabrina Daly. A public consultation will get underway in a few minutes at the Biltmore Plaza, where stakeholders in the tourism industry, concerned citizens, as well as developers involved with the Waterloo project will discuss the likelihood of a third cruise terminal being built in the Belize district. Tonight's meeting follows the resubmission of an environmental impact assessment carried out on behalf of Waterloo as part of the Port of Belize expansion project. According to Orlando Habet, Minister of Sustainable Development, a site visit was conducted earlier by members of the National Environmental Appraisal Committee, NEAC. The role of the working group will be to make a final decision on whether the project is viable based on a number of factors being considered. Viewers would recall that a previous EIA was turned down when Waterloo failed to meet certain requirements pertaining to the dredging and disposal of material at sea. News 5 spoke with Minister Habet via phone this afternoon.
The group, submitted the resubmission of their project that went directly to the Department of Environment. Department of Environment, with their staff, did the terms of reference. And so now they're looking at the environmental impact assessment. And before it goes to the NEAC, the Department of Environment will have to do the consultations. Today, I think the NEAC went to the site with the NEAC members and I guess the proponents for the project to look at the site and to whatever NEAC will look at and ask questions, or they will provide information that the NEAC requests. And then the Department of Environment will review the environmental impact assessment report, provide a summary report to the NEAC, and then the NEAC will sit over it and make a decision for a recommendation to the Department of Environment of a yes or a no, or that they require further information or whatever it is that they require.
According to Minister Habet, the resubmitted EIA seeks to address concerns that were raised regarding the previous assessment, where the disposal of dredge material is concerned. The EIA says the Minister of Sustainable Development will also deal with a request that has been made pertaining to the erection of a retaining wall for material that will be deposited near shore.
My understanding is, from being briefed by the department, is that the first submission, as you recall, was the one that was done originally, which we inherited coming into government in November of 2020. That proposal was to dump about 8 to 10 million cubic feet meters of seabed material closer to the Turnef, and the problem there would have been the impact it would have on the reef, fisheries, and everything else. Well, that was turned down immediately, even though the process still required a consultation, and that happened because that was already, they already had a date for that when we got into government. We had to proceed with it, but it was rejected. And so they immediately turned that around and sent in that new proposal where they were submitting the proposal where that material now would have been a certain percentage that would be near shore, a percentage onshore, and a percentage offshore. If you recall, late last year, the letter was sent to them saying that based on the submission that they made, that they were still deficient in some of the requests that had been made by the Department of Environment and NEAC, and that at the time they did not comply, and so the letter stated that they did not get approval at that period in time. The new submission now is one that apparently now looks at the entire area, and they are reducing the amount of materials that they will put on one side or the other, and most of the material will now be near shore, which they will use for the construction of the site. Additionally, I think one of the requests that was made originally, which they did not provide, was to provide sort of a retaining wall for that material, and now they have submitted in this new proposal some mechanism that will retain the material that they will be putting near shore.
Cordell Hyde, who is currently the acting Prime Minister, also spoke on this evening's consultation. He told reporters that if it was left up to him alone, the public event would not have even taken place. Here is what he had to say when we caught up with him at an event this afternoon in Belize City.
As I've probably said before, that is something that government will have to grapple with. That is a discussion, a serious discussion that government will have to have going forward. As it is right now, you have that this evening. If it were up to me, that wouldn't be the case. But
I think here is more actually have the power and authority to have stopped that process.
Yeah, but you're assuming that, right? We live in a democracy and we live in a country of laws, and ultimately, as the acting Prime Minister, I'm not a unilateral operator, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, this process has started. It is at this point. The Belizean people I am very confident, are going to make their voices known, are going to make their concerns known this evening. And it should be an interesting meeting, an interesting consultation, to say the least.
Deputy Mayor Alan Pollard Jr., who is presently standing in for Mayor Bernard Wagner, has also weighed in on the matter from the perspective of the Belize City Council. While the proposed Waterloo development will take place on the south side of Belize City, particularly in the Port Loyola constituency, it is Citco's belief that it should also have a say in the decision-making process. The matter, nonetheless, has not been raised in caucus.
So far, I must say, that hasn't been an agenda item. So as a collective, there hasn't been a fixed position by the council at this time. I think it was a year or two ago, Waterloo did a presentation at the Belize City Council. But as far as having something on agenda, that hasn't happened as yet.
Should the council discuss it, in your opinion, given that I think BWSL says that if the project goes forward, there may be issues with our water system?
Yeah, I think the council should have a say in any project that happens within Belize City, whether it affects us, whether it benefits us. The council should have a say in that.
On Wednesday, a sheaf of documents purportedly containing as many as 20,000 signatures were presented to the Minister of Sustainable Development, following a countrywide petition to garner enough support from residents who are against the Waterloo development. The signed demand for action was presented by Thomas Greenwood, along with several other persons who are active in cruise tourism in the country. Minister Orlando Habet explained that a meeting was called during which there was a handing over of the documents which he has been tasked with delivering to Prime Minister Briceño on Tuesday.
Really, the group had requested that I participate in this meeting where they would have handed over to the Deputy Prime Minister, in the absence of the Prime Minister, the 20,000 plus signatures, and that they requested for me to be present as a witness. I went to the meeting and I participated, listened to them and their presentations, and then somewhere towards the end, Sir Greenwood handed me officially the document so that I would be able to bring it back to Cabinet on Tuesday when Cabinet meets. My position is that the EIA regulations requires that one of the conditions for the EIA report or submission to be considered, and as a part of the report going to NEAC, is that there has to be some consultation. And so in the consultation, you get the public and interested parties and our stakeholders. And if you want to consider these petitions as stakeholders and voicing their opinion, then we'll take it to Cabinet, and then Cabinet makes a decision, well, yes, take it to the Department of Environment for them to consider as part of the consultation. And so when a decision is being made, that these things are taken into consideration.
While on the phone with us, we asked Minister Habet about the authenticity of the signatures that have been garnered and what is the process being used to determine that the petitions were in fact endorsed by persons who qualify as residents, voters, or adults.
What legitimacy do these signatures have? Are these persons who are constituents of Port Loyola? Are these persons who are considered adults 18 and above? What are we looking at here, and what validation does this have from either an NGO that deals with conservation and environmental matters?
The same question crossed my mind. I am not certain. I haven't looked at them. I didn't want to open them because I think that I needed to present it to the Prime Minister, because they were given to me to present to the Prime Minister. So that's what I'm going to do on Tuesday. My understanding is that it has the names of persons and a phone number. I don't know what else it has. I haven't really looked at them. But the same concern, if these are voters, if these are 18-year people or over. My understanding, though, is that it's not only from the Port Loyola area. My understanding it's petitions that have come from countrywide. I am not certain either of what input the NGOs have in it. We were hoping to have meetings also with the NGOs because we need to hear from them also, especially those who are in the marine area.
Coming up, there's much more news after the break, so don't go away.
Dr. Elsie Constanza. I'm a pediatrician and neonatologist. I work at the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital Authority and at Northern Medical Specialty Plaza. Like other vaccines, few persons may present with reactions. Vaccines are safe. Get protected. Get vaccinated.
Travelers, are you?
Start your engines now for the National MSME Roadshow, geared towards building the resilience of MSMEs and developing a national MSME directory. Sign up for this 3-day event filled with intensive boot camps, presentations, MSME support and formalization clinics, pop-up shops, and more to help you develop and promote your business. The National MSME Roadshow will be in Corozal starting August 24th. Orange Walk, August 31st, Belize City, September 7th, Punta Gorda, September 14th, Key Cocker, September 22nd, Belmopan, September 28th, San Ignacio and San Helena on October 5th, Dangriga, October 12th, Placencia, October 19th, and closes in San Pedro from October 26th. Learn more and sign up for the National MSME Roadshow by visiting the Beltrade Facebook page or call or WhatsApp us at 613-5139. And let's get your business on the road.
Carnival is back on the streets again, and the best seat in the house is right here on Channel 5. Tune in on Saturday, September 3rd at 1 p.m. to catch our coverage featuring all things Carnival, from the King and Queen competition to mass camps to Juve, and leading up to this year's Road March. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of this year's Carnival live on Channel 5 and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss Carnival Road March 2022 live on 5.
Reusable plastics. Did you know that until we find an alternative for plastic and all its uses, we will continue to need plastics, such as in the health sector? Plastic becomes a huge problem for Belize when it becomes waste and is improperly disposed of. When it is thrown on the side of the road and in our rivers and seas, it's eaten by animals and in turn by people, and it becomes an environmental and health issue. It costs us money for disposal, filling up dumps and landfills, and paying for associated healthcare. So what can you do? Choose to refuse single-use plastics is step 1. Step 2, instead, use the plastics that were meant to be reused, like coffee cups, water bottles, and food containers. We're not talking about buying a $1 bottle of water. I mean, you can, but how long will that last you? Reusable plastics keep plastics out of the environment for a much longer time and are even better than other forms of plastics like biodegradable or even compostable or bio-based plastics. By reusing, you are also saving money since you aren't rebuying the same thing over again. Think about it. How many bottles of water do you buy every week? How much does that cost compared to the cost of a reusable bottle? Imagine what you can do with the extra money. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Belizeans deserve a fast, dependable, high-quality internet service in their homes for online, virtual classes, and to work from home. It's the new way of life. Diginet is the #1 fiber service that is powering Belize's digital transformation. And now, this reliable fiber service is even more affordable with our new entry plan. For a limited time only, you and your family can enjoy 20 megabits per second of fiber service to your home for only $49 monthly. No more missed classes and interrupted meetings. It's costing you time and money. Diginet is better than cable and better than wireless. Visit a Digistore today to sign up for the best home internet service in Belize. Come see what you've been missing. Same high quality, fast, and reliable fiber service, now at an even lower price. For more information, visit livedigi.com/Diginet. Digi, our national telecom.
V-Bucks by Benny's, Belize's newest multi-brand rewards program. To access V-Bucks, download the mobile app or access the website portal at vbucks.bz and set up your account. If you already have a Benny's account, chances are you already have V-Bucks. Don't let them go to waste. To earn V-Bucks, make a purchase at any Benny's location or at any of these Benny's entities, namely Island Freight Forwarders, Best Manufacturing, Benquip, and B-Mart. Once V-Bucks are earned, reward yourself. Use V-Bucks to buy items or exchange for cash. You can also double, triple, or even quadruple your V-Bucks on promotional days. It is simple. Purchase, earn, redeem. Loyalty is always rewarding with V-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
On August 25th, a consortium of non-governmental organizations whose primary interests are in conservation wrote to Prime Minister Briceño requesting a moratorium on all environmental impact assessments until relevant legislations have been amended. We asked Minister Habet for his position on that proposal.
I have been told of that letter. I haven't seen it. It hasn't come to my office. And my concern there is that whilst maybe you can consider having a hold on some of the EIAs that will be, in their view, impactful, I don't know if you can put a moratorium on all EIAs because some of them are really developmental, especially those that come for the public service, those that are for road construction, bridge construction by the Ministry of Infrastructure and Housing. I don't know that you want to stop those. So I think we'll have to look at exactly what they are asking for. I haven't seen it, so I really can't comment more on it. But certainly there are issues that will come up now and possibly even after for amendments to the regulations. And I think that we have to consider some of these things as dynamic. They will change over time, depending on the conditions as time goes by.
Employees at the DFC headquarters in Belmopan were out protesting at midday. News 5 understands that 3 employees were handed letters of termination on grounds of redundancy. This latest development has caused quite a stir within the financial institution. Those in protest of the terminations are claiming that the notices given are in contravention of Section 45 of the Labor Act, which speaks to redundancy. President of the Christian Workers Union, Evan Mose-Hyde, is representing those terminated employees. He told News 5, quote, "The management of DFC has not complied with all the redundancy requirements," unquote. The Labor Department has called a meeting for tomorrow in Belmopan. We heard from the CWU member at DFC who was out at midday. Here is what he had to say, courtesy Plus TV.
Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Today's activity was due to our disappointment and dissatisfaction with the redundancy exercise which was carried out by DFC. We informed them that in our view they were not implementing the exercise as in accordance to the Labor Act. And yesterday 3 of our members were issued their redundancy letters, officially terminating them as of yesterday. We at the CWU had informed them that due to their lack of adherence to the act, we were not accepting the notices, and hence, in our view, the employees had not been terminated.
The CWU president says, quote, "If the outcome of the meeting is not satisfactory, the union will utilize all options available to us," unquote. Minister Hyde also chimed in on the conversation surrounding hairstyle policies in secondary schools. His response is pretty much that this should not even be a discussion at this point. He says he is in disbelief that so much attention is being placed on the hairstyle a child wears when there are greater issues to address following the COVID-19 pandemic.
It's really sad that after a 2-year pandemic, that is what we are discussing right now. You know, like right now, we have a big problem in terms of all our kids lost during that 2 years. They lost a lot, and nobody's really talking about that, you know. The loss is the step back. The fall off is incalculable, right? And that has to be our focus. Our job has to be, as government, as institutions, as educators, is to make sure kids stay in school, right? It can't be so easy to deny a kid an opportunity to be in school. Like, that has to be absolute last resort. And so for me, you know, that's not a conversation we should be having right now. You have to be working with the parents. Yes, you have to be working as a team. But let's talk to each other and let us work these things out. Like, that is not the biggest problem we have right now. We have far greater problems. And bottom line is to get kids in school and make sure that they are learning and try to make up for all the times that they've lost. Because the truth of the matter is, kids weren't learning a whole lot during those 2 years, brother. They weren't reading books during those 2 years. They weren't really engaged enough online with education during those 2 years. So we have major problems, and we have to figure that out going forward. And that's the least of the problems, I think.
Now that the state of emergency for the Lake Independence community has been lifted, there is great hope for peace to prevail. As area representative for Lake Eye, Cordell Hyde says, the course of change in his constituency begins with education. Here's how he responded when asked about the SOE coming to an end.
Thank goodness it's come to an end. You know, as I've said before, this is not an overnight problem. This is a problem that's been there for decades. And we continue to do all we can daily to try to help, to try to alleviate the issues, to try to address the issues really, and to try to make sure that, you know, ultimately that is not a choice. Like, you have other choices. That's what it's about, making sure that you have other choices. But the truth of the matter is that there are some people who, no matter what you do, will go down that road. But our job is to make sure that we are there for the people who don't want to go down that road, who want to go down a different road. But at the end of the day, I'm a big proponent of trying to make sure that the young kids stay in school, trying to make sure that they don't fall out of school and become easy candidates, easy target for gang membership and that kind of stuff, you know. Every year, for many, many years, over 1,500 kids drop out of school. That's each year, and lots of times they don't go back to school. And lots of time, these are kids that are in Standard 5 and Standard 6 and First Farm and Second Farm. That's primarily where they fall out from. And why do they fall out of school? They fall out of school because of economic reasons. And ultimately, it is the job of this government. It's a firm priority that we have. And we've started already with the free education campaign on the south side of Belize City, where we are making sure that kids will have everything they need to go to the 4 government high schools on the south side, so that there's no reason not to be at school. And I'm a firm believer that once you go to school, once you complete school, you won't join any gang, and you won't get into any trouble, and you won't get killed.
After the break, police charges a teenager for Tuesday night shooting near the mass camp. We'll have that and more when we come back.
Cellular World's virtual store, providing you with an easy and reliable way to shop conveniently, anytime, anywhere. It's easy as click, chat, and shop. Simply add us to WhatsApp at 615-5141 and chat with any of our virtual shopping experts to inquire about your desired products. Place your order, arrange your payment via bank transfer, choose your preferred shipping method, and enjoy your purchase upon receipt. Start shopping at Cellular World's virtual store, and you will be entered to win cash and other prizes daily. And that's not all. Take advantage of our exclusive virtual shopping promotions, more prizes, and surprises. So don't delay. Add us to WhatsApp and start shopping virtually today. Cellular World. Low prices, more choices.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Carnival is back. Back on the streets again, and the best seat in the house is right here on Channel 5. Tune in on Saturday, September 3rd at 1 p.m. to catch our coverage featuring all things Carnival, from the King and Queen competition to mass camps to Juve, and leading up to this year's Road March. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of this year's Carnival live on Channel 5 and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss Carnival Road March 2022 live on 5.
Messi. Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi standing over this. Messi. Off goal! What a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
A police officer shot a man this afternoon on Cottonwick Avenue in Belize City. Information to News 5 is that officers entered an abandoned building just after midday, where they allegedly came across a man holding a knife in his hand. Officers reportedly demanded that the individual drop the knife, but the man allegedly did not comply. In response, one officer fired a single shot that caught the individual on the right leg. Moments later, an ambulance arrived on the scene. The shooting victim was then taken to the hospital for treatment. He appeared to be fully responsive following the ordeal. Information suggests that the individual was being sought by police in connection with a robbery at a church in Belize City. The Belize Police Department is yet to issue an official statement on this incident. A teenager who recently turned 18 is tonight on remand at the Belize Central Prison after he was arraigned earlier for 8 charges in connection with Tuesday night's shooting near the Soka Moka mass camp. Charleston Green Jr. of Antelope Street Extension faces charges of attempted murder, use of deadly means of harm, grievous harm, keeping unlicensed firearm, keeping unlicensed ammunition, and 3 counts of aggravated assault. In the incident, Dixon Ramirez was shot, but police allege that Green then committed aggravated assault with the firearm upon 3 police officers, Corporal Keyshawn McPhail, Corporal Harvey Welch, and Detective Constable Shahid Franklin. No plea was taken because of the severity of the offenses. He was remanded to prison until November 2nd. Green can apply to the Supreme Court for bail with the help of an attorney if he so wishes, until his case is called to trial. The shooting disrupted the judging of the Soka Moka mass camp, which was the last camp that the Carnival judges were visiting on that night as part of their overall judging of Carnival 2022. There is concern among bus operators in the public transportation industry tonight after newcomer Floralia Bus Company applied to the Ministry of Transport for additional runs. Floralia, which currently operates between Punta Gorda and Belize City, has requested that its runs be extended to include services from Placencia to Belize City and from Banca Viejo del Carmen to Corozal. But the bus operators who have been serving the country in those areas quickly asked for a meeting with officials of the Transport Ministry to discuss the matter. That meeting finished late this evening with CEO in the ministry, Marconi Leal Jr. Following the discussion, News 5 got both sides of the issue.
Other runs that they're proposing for the north, those runs will on the west side, those runs will be stepping on 4 or 5 major operators who have been in the industry for quite some time. And one of the issues is that an operator's seat is that they're cherry picking. They're looking at runs, the most profitable runs that took some operators years to build, and they are going in applying maybe for 15 minutes or half an hour ahead of these operators who have been there for years. So that's the contention there, and we don't see it right that you bring in a new player and then have them being placed in front of operators who have been here. And I mean, the argument with that we have with GOB is that they have 2022 buses, and the people in Ocha, they ask for it. But I'll be honest, people ask for anything, but they don't pay for it. Because we have in the south, Floralia has 3 runs right now. They started out as express runs. Right now, then they battle with the rest of operators. They run regular run within 2022 bus. Then they run express run them up. And when they were brought into the industry, they were brought in here to give a first-class service, meaning an express service, and then they outside the run regular bus with it.
So it's not that consideration is being given to Floralia, it's that Floralia has requested permits, and at the last transport board meeting, it was that at the next board meeting, Floralia would then do a presentation, but we also wanted to ensure that we gave the BBA opportunity to get their feedback on it. So this session today was about getting their feedbacks and view on the permit that Floralia had requested before the next board meeting, the monthly board meeting next Thursday. So it's not that they're getting consideration, it's that they have requested permit and we're consulting with the bus operators and getting their views on it.
Their concern is that there seems to be, Floralia is quote-unquote cherry picking the runs that they want, and they are fearful that they might be accommodated.
Well, we're doing consultations with them and the board will discuss it. It's not that any decision has been made at this point. So that's their thought and their view, but it's not like any decision has been made at this point. Operators are aware that we've done multiple consultations with them, a part of our IDB transformation project in the Department of Transport, and what that includes is looking at the current schedules that we currently have. It's looking at the entire policy. So they are aware that we're looking at a first-class service They know that Floralia has the 2022 buses in countries. They know that we're also looking at optimizing what we currently have in terms of, we're congested in terms of the amount of permits that are out there, so we try to minimize that as much as possible. We're doing the studies to see where bus operators are still on the road knowing that they're not making money. We need to minimize those permits, but at the same time we know there's cases where there's standees, and so we're also doing those studies to look at the capacity and to ensure that we add those bus routes. So they are aware of that.
I just want to know, at the end of the day, we're not looking at a monopoly here, right?
No, we're definitely not looking at a monopoly, and bus operators have been, that has been clarified in, and there's no instances where I could say that they would ever think about a monopoly, because we've made that clear. That is not the purpose. The purpose is about looking at better bus standards and optimizing the bus schedules that we currently have.
Another concern that some of the bus operators have was soon cleared up. It appears that the fuel subsidy that was allocated for bus operators have not been shared evenly across the board. But both CEO Marconi Leal Jr. and Secretary of the Belize Bus Association, Ewart Metzkin, explained that all bus operators do not work equal hours or equal days for that matter. The breakdown of their fuel subsidies, Leal said, is available for them to peruse.
Some of them were complaining about they were not getting what they think they should have been getting. No? So we got some clarifications from the CEO on that, and for us to go back to operators and tell them to that for them to come into the department to see how it is that that subsidy was worked out in their favor.
But wasn't that something that was already worked out? And
yes, ma'am. We initially sat down, myself, Mr. Shaw, the CEO, and a couple others, we sat down and we had that worked out. But after the subsidies started out, we had some operators, after receiving the first payment, when they worked it out based on what we had agreed on, they were saying that instead of getting payment for like 28 days, those of us that run 7 days a week. Okay. Some of them were between 20 and 24 days, so some days were short from what they were supposed to be getting. And they wanted us to clarify that and to find out from the folks what was the reason for that. No?
Okay, and?
So the CEO told us that if there's any question from any of them, that for them to come into the office and they will give them a breakdown on a graph to show them how they came up with the figure and what they're supposed to be getting. In all truth, there are some operators that only run from Monday to Friday. There are some that run from Monday to Saturdays, and then we have the large operators that do the national runs. They run from Sunday to Sunday. Yes. So there will be a difference in subsidies for different operators based on the amount of days they run. So I guess it was just getting that all sorted out, because some operators probably maybe felt that they would have been getting the subsidy for the full 28 days or so. You know, and if you are not running that amount of days, I don't think you should be getting paid for something you're not doing. No?
They know who is the person in Belmopan that they can call. They can get the details of how that subsidy was calculated, and we're very transparent in that process. So there's a few operators that had reached out to me and they had gotten clarity on how that was calculated, and so that's what I shared today in the meeting, that they could reach out and we will definitely give them that clarity.
When we return, 7 outstanding Belizeans received Belize at 41 awards. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
valiant and bold, proud and strong. Oh, Belize, we bounce at 41. Yes, we rebound at 41. Everything nice again. Everything okay again. We building strength back again. Economy rolling again. Cause we smart and we brilliant. And we people resilient. Cause we're all significant. So let we try and dance cause we relevant. Todavía estamos representando. A Belize manteniendo viva la cultura. Valiente y ahora orgulloso y fuerte. Rebotes de Belice a los 41.
We party, we celebrate, we give thanks for freedom. We independent for life. We independent for life. We party, we celebrate, we give thanks for freedom. We independent for life. Belize rebounds at 41.
From the blue wall to the Coxcomb Peak, from Corozal down to PG. Me say we bold and strong, we 41 and a sovereign nation. Me say we setting the foundation. Right there so, for the younger ones, we help building each other solid and strong. With healthy minds, firm education. We valiant and bold, proud and strong. Oh, Belize rebound at 41. Yes, we rebound at 41. We valiant and bold, proud and strong. Oh, Belize rebound at 41. Yes, we rebound at 41.
Independent for life. We independent for life. We party, we celebrate, we give thanks for freedom. We independent for life. Belize rebounds at 41.
Flags in the air, put your flags in the air. Fly them high, fly them proud. Flags in the air. We party, we celebrate, we give thanks for freedom. We independent for life. Belize rebounds at 41. Independence, happy independence, yeah, independence, happy independence, yeah.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the split the bill button where he selects the evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Carnival is back. Back on the streets again, and the best seat in the house is right here on Channel 5. Tune in on Saturday, September 3rd at 1 p.m. to catch our coverage featuring all things Carnival, from the King and Queen competition to mass camps to Juve, and leading up to this year's Road March. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of this year's Carnival live on Channel 5 and streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss Carnival Road March 2022 live on 5.
It is the first day of September, and to kick off the month of festivities, the National Celebrations Commission recognized 7 outstanding Belizeans with the Belize at 41 awards. The awardees are exceptional Belizeans who have dedicated their lives to nation building with the use of various talents. The award ceremony was held at the House of Culture in Belize City. News 5's Paul Lopez has that report.
7 Belizeans were honored today with Belize at 41 awards for their contributions to Belizean music, dance, literacy arts, visual arts, theater, traditional knowledge, and creative community action. Among the awardees was Belizean actor Ray Gongora. He received the Beverly Smith Lopez Prize for acting in theater and film.
Beverly Smith and I, we grew up together. As young people in our 20s, enter the stage, Beverly, I would probably say found her and brought her onto stage and worked with her, developed the Beverly Smith that you now know or knew. Everybody knows as Dodo Darling, as I introduced her as Dodo Darling. And for me, Beverly, I'm my konomono, and we love each other until forever, you know. And so to receive this is very much an honor for me as well as for her and what she has done for this country and for me also as a performer.
Penn Cayetano received the George Gabb Award for his contributions to visual arts. Don Adderley received the Rosita Baltazar Prize for contributions to dance. Brother David Obi received the Andy Palacio Prize for his contributions to Belizean music.
I represent Belize most about 5 or 6 different countries in the world already, you know what I mean? And all of them feel good, everybody be happy and satisfied when we do, you know? So the blessing for now people say, well, Brother David, make we give you this kind of honor, you know? And coming under Andy, that was a special treat because at one point that me and Andy used to carry the Belizean music. That know this, that me and the Palacio used to be the representation for Belize music in Mexico album, right? When I first meet Andy, I made do a show that we got the Holy Ghost. And this youth show up with the guitar up on his back, bright-eyed and very aggressive, right? And come up and say, Brother David, I want to do a song. Well, they don't look for this lead musician. I know that was different and special. The man come really ready. I tell him, sure, man, make him fit you in after so and so. And the man gone up and he do a song named The Struggle Goes On. Serious struggle.
Lawrence Vernon received the Z. Edgell Prize for his contributions to literary arts. Susano Blanco received the Don Eligio Pandy Prize for his contributions to the protection and development of traditional knowledge. And Brad Patico received the Leela Vernon Prize for his contributions to creative community action and safeguarding cultural heritage.
Together, they are the best of what we have. Can we imagine a Belize without them and their gifts, and how privation would stalk the land? Theirs has been a paintbrush of what it means to be Belizean, quintessential Belizean, pure Belizean, unadulterated Belizean. No copycat, no imitation, just authentic as it comes, Belizean to the bone. They have followed in the tradition of those for whom the awards have been named. Persons who all started as children, represented us all over the world, were selfless in sharing their gifts and knowledge. They gave back everything they had. They were all teachers, one way or the other. Pure geniuses in their craft, thoroughly and beautifully Belizean.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Just ahead, the Tubal Trade and Vocational Institute turns 21.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us and point us in the right direction? What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new SmartStream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, SmartStream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with SmartStream.
Hello eCash user, the eCash app is now available in Spanish. Changing the language in your eCash app from English to Spanish is quick and easy. Let me walk you through the steps. First, open your eCash app. Enter your PIN. Tap the More icon at the bottom of your screen. Choose Security. Select Language. Tap on Spanish. Then re-enter your PIN. And that's it! Your eCash app is now in Spanish, and you can continue to enjoy your eCash digital wallet. Belize Bank's eCash app makes life easier.
It all started 21 years ago when Lyndon Bailey felt a calling to open a trade and vocational institute he would later name Tubal. From very humble beginnings, he and his wife, Laverne, sought assistance from the then government and from a couple lending institutions to open up the first phase of a trade school. At the time, there was no infrastructure development in that area of Ladyville, and the Baileys had to purchase a generator and truck water from their house daily to provide electricity and water to the students and to run their programs. Today, there was much accomplishment to celebrate, and News 5's Marian Ali was there for the occasion. Here's that report.
There was cause for celebration today at the Tubal Trade and Vocational Institute in Ladyville. It was 21 years ago that Lyndon Bailey felt compelled to lead the charge after witnessing a horrible crime.
One night we were sitting down and we saw a young man stab the other one with a screwdriver right here in Ladyville. And I said, what can we do to help these young people? I remember the road that I came from. And I went to trade school. Okay. And I said, you know what? Maybe we can build a school, a trade school, and started to train these young people.
Bailey took his idea and his plan to a few key people who recommended him for the loans that he needed to open the school with humble beginnings. And his tenacity eventually paid off.
Then we built the first phase of the school. That's the bottom floor.
And you started with what subjects then?
We started with the automotive, we started with the construction, and then we started with the catering and hospitality. We put in an industrial kitchen, which we can better serve the students that came. It was hard for us to sell the programs.
Yes.
But now I can see that it's getting much easier and easier because people are starting to believe in the program, that vocational education do make a difference.
Yes. Yadimir Torres is a living testament that the institution can indeed make a difference. For him, meeting the burdensome, costly commute from Orange Walk to Belize City eventually took its toll on his academic education.
Well, we are from the north, right? Sometimes, where parents are struggling and so forth, you don't have money for bus fares and so forth. We need to find how to come to school. But yes, we need to come to school because if we don't come, we miss one day and then we miss out a lot, right? I went to sixth form and like I said, we couldn't finish pay the education. So this was the last opportunity that was given to me for me to do better, and I didn't take.
That was when Torres decided, with the support of his family, to enroll in Tubal, which is a shorter travel distance and a cheaper bus fare. He found his niche in the electrical field, and that was what launched him into eventually becoming his own boss and owning his own company, Torres Electrical and Air Conditioning.
My mother used to tell me that I used to like breaking things apart and so forth, so I decided to take the electrical field, right? I have one of the students, the past students as well as my worker, right?
Torres was a speaker at today's anniversary ceremony. His story and his message were well received because two random students who were in the audience are also seeking the path of success that he took.
I take this here at Tubal as a big opportunity, and I am taking currently the course of carpentry, so I see myself building, helping with construction, all different type of things.
I got the RC, I drop out at Standard 5, and just step on the street for about 3 years, just to work with my father, hard work, construction.
How difficult was it for you to reintegrate back into a school setting after living, you said you're on the street for a few years?
Well, when I first go, I think kind of I like it, but then I come here to the classroom for a week and I say I like it and just decide to stay. I open my own business. I know I work for people too long.
Bailey says it's students like Trenton and Chevar that keep him and his wife with their shoulders to the proverbial wheel, always seeking to make space for more youths who want to learn a trade.
Hoping that we can get more funding so that we can put up another building for more classrooms.
Okay.
And so we can add more trade.
What trades?
We can add like hair braiding. We can add how to make cakes, like small business programs.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.